Hello again, and welcome to the last video lecture that we will have for the class. I decided to not do anything on chapter 11. Again, please read my slides. I've said that before in the other chapters, but it is important, some of the concepts in there. But some of that chapter I skip over when we're in a regular lecture format. There's a lot of really detailed information in my opinion, almost too much, and so I will tell you in the slides what you need to pay attention to and what would potentially be test material. So let's go into the last two chapters of the book. Chapter 12 is on cross-cultural leadership and motivation, and then chapter 13 is about subsidiaries and the parent relationship with that. So chapter 12, I'm going to post a lot of leadership videos this week, some of my favorite ones. It is a topic that I absolutely love. Now, it becomes more difficult to be a leader in a global environment or international environment because now your leadership capabilities and skills have to transcend across these cultures and languages and barriers, and you might have one way that you do business in your home country that has worked great as a leader, and you're known to be a great leader and people follow you, and you really have that. You can really motivate and energize your team. Now, if your team becomes 10 people and all of those people are from a different country, one person on that team might value individualism. The other one might value collectivism. And when you have to put your meeting agenda together and you travel to a location where everyone meets, you have to make sure that you are balancing the needs of, the majority of the people in that group. Now, there's no way to possibly do this for everyone because that's just not possible. And as a leader, you need to pick and choose what you want to do and really about what do I want to do and not want to do, right? Or what do I want to focus on and not focus on? So the thing here is just remember that when you have, something that works for your country, it doesn't always mean that that's going to be the same. For example, in the United States, we like to give recognition to people at an individual level. And maybe you send an email out to your team, or maybe in a team meeting, you call them out and say, hey, Jim, you did a really great job with the customer last week, and you got the first purchase order that we needed for the project. Congratulations, we're really happy. In other cultures, that would be frowned upon, because it's not about what the individual did, it's about what the team did. And so the team should be congratulated. So that individual actually might be very upset if you actually recognize them as an individual in a team meeting. So you just need to be aware of these things and understand. And as you travel around the world, before you become a manager, you will have exposure to this and you will start to understand it. Hopefully that's what happens. Then once you get into a leadership role and it's a global one, then you can start to understand how really to pull all these pieces together and all the strengths of all of the people in these teams across the world. So that's what chapter 12 is about. And like I said, there's a lot of leadership information and when you use a certain style and things like that. So a lot of that detail in the videos this week, but also in the lecture notes again. And then chapter 13, let me get here, is about the parent subsidiary, as I said. And one of the biggest things here is what you have is you have a parent-child relationship. And when a company first starts out, that parent is very strong. Just like when you started out and you were 2 or 3 years old, your parents made all the decisions for you because they had to, because you weren't ready to make those decisions on your own. You weren't mature enough or old enough. As you become older and older, and maybe when you're 12 years old, then they allow you to stay at home while they run to the grocery store and get groceries, or they allow you to stay home by yourself if mom and dad are going to see a movie or something like that. Then, at 16, you get your license here in the United States. At 17, maybe you start dating. At 18, then you're an adult, you go to college. And the relationship, the control between the parent and the child changes over time. This is the same thing that happens in a company. So initially, you have headquarters and you have that parent company. As all of these subsidiaries around the world in different countries come on board, first of all, at the beginning, a lot of the power is still going to be at headquarters, and they're over time going to give more and more authority and power and decision making to those children in that relationship, or to the subsidiaries. So this is really what this chapter is about. Some people get a little confused when they talk about centralization, decentralization. That's just centralization is all the decisions are made at corporate. Decentralization is decisions are made more at the subsidiaries or at the country level, where those problems exist and things and choices need to be made. So go through this chapter. It's a great chapter. I like it that they ended the book like this. I think it's a great way to basically bring everything together and say, hey, you have to have control. You have to understand as a company how you want to position and how you want to put all of these pieces and parts together for this massive puzzle that companies have today of globalization in a globalized company. All right. Thank you. It's been a great class. I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.